Europe is going to pay in a big way, as they should, and it will be your win. Safe travels, and see you at His Majesty's dinner, Mark Rutte. That is so cringe, dude. It sounds like sarcasm. No. Mark Rutte is a major... Dude, these guys will die if we're not actively killing Muslims somewhere, okay? If we're not actively killing brown people over there, I will die. Okay, just please, one more bombing campaign. One more bombing campaign against a Muslim population, and it will be packed up. I promise it's going to be good. I promise this time it'll be different. Just please kill a little bit more, just a crumb of more than destruction, please. Yeah, it's like China in trade, exactly. China is like, please, one more node of development. One more node of development. If I don't send Labubus, a shipment of Labubus, to the American countryside, I will explode. And for America, it's like, if we don't kill Muslims, we can't. We'll die. There's a life force that is preserving America, and that is exploding Muslim children overseas. We have to do it. We have to do it, or else we'll die. You don't want us to die, do you? I mean, come on. That'd be really tough. It's quite anti-Semitic of you to not want us to kill Muslims, actually. Why are there so many Muslim countries surrounding our forward operating base, Israel? They have to be eradicated. You sound very anti-Semitic.
Hello, everybody. How are you?
What is this?
How are you? We have breaking news. Everything
is broken.
And they said you expect very great. Put out a statement on truth, and they didn't do anything.
Yeah, he's also chalking that up as a W for himself too. He's like, yes, I've contained Israel by tweeting. I stopped Israel by tweeting super hard. I truthed.
That this might not happen again. Say in a couple weeks then.
Tired of it. I think they don't want it to happen again. And Iran's not going to have a nuclear weapon, by the way. I think it's the last thing on their mind right now.
Mr. President, did Iran make any commitments yesterday about uranium enrichment?
About what?
About uranium enrichment.
They're not going to have enrichment, and they're not going to have a nuclear weapon, and they know that. They're going to get on to being a great trading nation. You know, they're very good traders, and they're going to be a great trading nation, and they have a lot of oil. They're going to do well. They're not going to have a nuclear weapon.
So did they
The
promise?
last thing on Iran's mind right now is nuclear weapons.
Can you clarify what you meant when you mentioned regime change in your Truth Social post the other night?
Which?
Regime change? Do you want to see regime change in Iran?
No. If there was, there was. But no, I don't want it. I'd like to see everything calm down as quickly as possible. Regime change takes chaos. And ideally, we don't want to see so much chaos. So we'll see how it does. You know, the Iranians are very good traders, very good business people. And they got a lot of oil. They should be fine. They should be able to rebuild and do a good job. They're never going to have nuclear, but other than that, they should do a great job, which is exactly what I've been saying for years. You cannot let Iran have a nuclear weapon. But we're going to...
Oh, yeah. Trump is also wrong about the Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. Iran's Atomic Energy Agency, according to Tehran Times, says Iran's nuclear program will resume without interruption, and we are ready to restart enrichment. Our program will not stop. Now, this could mean two things, okay? One is an emboldened hardliner position that has now taken root within Iranian society and certainly within the Iranian government, where they are now going to go full tilt on nuclear deterrence. Or it can mean so that they can once again have leverage. Oh, shit. Okay, calm down. Calm down, internet. I know. A little F, little blip, little baby F, little Fs, small Fs taking place. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Lots of Fs, micro Fs, but many Fs nonetheless. We got it back. We're good. No more Fs will be taking place eventually. Let's test out the delay, folks. The Biker Broadcasting Service is brought to you by the viewers. That's right. $6 a month or free in the form of a Twitch Prime. Your subscriptions are what keeps this broadcast going. The Piker Broadcasting Service will never serve ads unless they are contractually obligated to do so. Subscribe now to the Piker Broadcasting Service. You can also gift a sub to others. Burgles, thank you for the 100 gifted subs to the Piker Broadcasting Service, PBS. PBS. I don't believe anything it says in this voice. Could the Trump admin be further calcifying their war-starting pretext with these leaks? They complain about CNN saying the operation was actually unsuccessful, but are they actually upset about CNN saying that the threat is still there and is more real than ever before? I mean, I think they would say it themselves. I think they would, what do you call it? I think that the administration themselves would say it instead of leaking it to CNN. The admin themselves would be like, oh, our operations were very successful, but obviously it's not enough. We need to go again. I think there's different ways of going about it if they wanted to go back and create more, create a media environment that is already very thirsty for perma war with Iran. I will not do ads unless I sign a contract to do ads. Yeah, it's true. Wemby posing with Mao? No. Oh, that's amazing. Oh my God. Victor Wembanyama stuns with Mao Zedong in newly shared photo. He's a ball knower. He is a ball knower. This is amazing. He's living his best life, dude. I'm stunned. I am stunned. Resurfaced photo shows Wemby might have become a Maoist third worldist. Victor Wembanyama comes back to the United States of America with newfound appreciation for global trade. Victor Wembanyama believes that the One Belt, One Road initiative will offer global prosperity to all parties involved, including the United States of America. Resurfaced from 2 minutes ago. JD Pon Wemby, welcome to the team. All right, let's keep going.
Be with, where's Marco? I think Marco's here someplace. You know, our great secretary of State. But we cannot let them have a nuclear weapon. They won't have a nuclear weapon. And I will tell you, the last thing on their minds is nuclear weapons. They don't even want to think about nuclear. And our B-2 pilots made this all possible. They had a magnificent hit in the dark of night with no moon, no light, no nothing. They hit the target perfectly, wiped it out. And the press is very disrespectful. I saw CNN fake news going, well, maybe it wasn't a perfect hit, it was perfect. They said maybe it did destroy it. We agree, it did destroy it, but maybe it could have destroyed it more. No, it couldn't have destroyed it more. Everyone hit. And it's very disrespectful to those great geniuses and patriots that flew those planes through tremendous danger.
Yeah, this is such a funny way to defend the military. This is such a funny way to defend like the otherwise failed military objectives by being like, you're disrespecting the troops. Like, you're not only are you disrespecting our armed forces, but you're disrespecting the brave individual troops that conducted this strike. It's hilarious.
So CNN and MSDNC are a disgrace. And so are the others. I mean, they're pretty much all a disgrace. But it's an amazing period of time. Now we're going to NATO, and we'll get a new set of problems. We'll solve a new set of problems.
Do you think you'll meet with Zelensky when you're there?
They're calling them chair force. Believe it, folks. These guys, they are not sitting on chairs, okay? They got Tostitos fired up in the microwave on the B-2 bomber. 42 hours. They got a bed in there. I'd love to be on a B-2 bomber myself. Probably better than the Air Force, folks. Believe it. Air Force One, not the best plane. That's why I wanted a plane from Qatar. Love to be on one of those B-2 bombers. Watching the bombs fall down.
Yeah, probably. I'll see him. Yeah.
What would you say to him?
Say, how you doing? He's in a tough situation. Should have never been there.
Sir, you said a couple days ago that you didn't think the U.S. should have to agree to the 5% increase in GDP on defense.
No.
Do you want
I was the one that said that's what they should be paying, as you know. No, I should do something. And they're having a problem with Spain. There's always a problem with Spain. Because Spain's not agreeing, which is very unfair to the rest of them, frankly.
So the U.S. won't be increasing our GDP to 5%.
We should pay what everyone else, they're in Europe, we're not. A lot of that money goes to rebuilding their bridges, their roads, so it can take heavy equipment. And, we don't have any roads in Europe. We don't have any bridges in Europe. So, no, it wouldn't be quite the same thing for us. But we're with them.
Are you still committed to Article 5 of NATO?
Depends on your definition. There's numerous definitions of Article 5. You know that, right? But I'm committed to being their friends. I've become friends with many of those leaders, and I'm committed to helping them.
What do you want the role of NATO to be going forward once these other countries are spending more?
By having a unified system, I think we're going to have stronger peace, better peace, and I think we have that. When I went to NATO, they were broke. When I first started this whole thing, it seems like a long time ago, 9 years, right? But they were broke. I knew it immediately. I said, you guys are broke. They weren't paying their dues.
How do you define Article 5? Like you read it and you understand basic English? I mean, the funniest version of this is that he just simply doesn't know what Article 5 is, which I doubt. I know he's stupid, but like, I don't think he's that stupid, okay? I'm sure he knows what it is. I think he just means like, what are the limitations of invoking Article 5? I don't know, like, or how America interprets it. Like something that I've talked about in the past is like, would Article 5, would America or all the NATO nations invoke Article 5 if like Lithuania was being attacked? You know what I mean? I don't think it would. I don't personally think they would. It's just a matter of like what the response is, how much they want to defend Lithuania. I mean, in the past, there have been, as you guys know, when Turkey and Greece got into conflict, Turkey, a NATO nation, very clearly did not trigger Article 5. Greece did not trigger Article 5, and neither did Turkey when they fought one another. Maybe he means like that,
7 of the 28 countries at the time it was 28 were paying their dues, but they were.
Dog, you have like 10 Lithuanians watching, and what you're saying is scary. I'm just trying to make sense of what Donald Trump means here. Okay, that's all this
weren't
is.
Paying very much. NATO was broke, and I said you're going to have to pay, and we did a whole thing, and now they're
Clip it for when HasanAbi
Then I said you're going to have to lift it to 4% or 5%, and 5% is better. And I guess they're voting on that today, but they're going to be lifting it to 5%. That's good. It gives them much more power.
Mr. President, if there's language in the final summit.
Wait, he leaked the text from Mark Rutte. Mr. President, dear Donald, congratulations and congratulations and thank you for your decisive action in Iran. That was truly extraordinary and something no one else dared to do. It makes us all safer. You are flying into another big success in The Hague this evening. It was not easy, but we've got them all signed on to 5%. Donald, you have driven us to a really, really important moment for America and Europe and the world. You will achieve something no American president in decades could get done. Europe is going to pay in a big way, as they should, and it will. No, he didn't write this. This is not real. Is he writing? First of all, it's shocking how he's able to write this text message while he's bouncing on it, if it's real. Okay? Because I don't know how he was able to see the phone through the bubbles he was blowing right in front of his eyes. Secondly, they confirmed it was real. What? Dude, he's mimicking Trump's text patterns. Europe is going to pay in a big way, as they should, and it will be your win. Safe travels and see you at His Majesty's dinner, Mark Rutte. That is so cringe, dude. It sounds like sarcasm. No. Mark Rutte is a major dick rider. Okay? So no, I don't think this is sarcasm. Especially the part about Iran being like, you did an incredible thing in Iran. In Iran, you did an incredible thing. In Iran, believe it. Like that makes sense. Oh, God. These guys are such losers, man. They're
Declaration
such losers,
about
bro.
aggression by Russia. Would you be okay with that kind of language?
Well, I'll have to take a look at it, but I'd like to see a deal with Russia. As you know, Vladimir called me up. He said, "Can I help you with Iran?" I said, "No, I don't need help with Iran. I need help with you." And I hope we're going to be getting a deal done with Russia. It's a shame. 6,000 soldiers died last week. 6,500 soldiers died last week. Russia, Ukraine, a war that never would have happened if I was president. So enjoy your flight.
Let me ask you one more follow-up. In your comments just now about Article 5, that will probably make some people in Europe concerned. Can you clarify what you mean? Are you still committed to mutual defense?
I'm committed to saving lives. I'm committed to life and safety. And I'm going to give you an exact definition when I get there. I just don't want to do it on the back of an airplane. Okay?
And one other question on energy. What's your take on the oil price situation right now, and are you concerned?
I love it. It dropped almost $10 yesterday. I put out a statement, get it down, because a lot of people aren't able to do things when the energy goes down. We're going to have a lot less conflict. So it came down, and our energy department's doing a great job. We're drilling like we've never drilled before. We're keeping it down. We're going to keep it down until all these wars are settled. Thank you very much, everybody. I'll see you.
Iranian sleeper cells in the United States.
Biden led a lot of supercells, and Biden was an incompetent president, had no idea what he was doing. He hardly ever signed a document. Other people signed documents for him with the auto pen. It was gross incompetence. And among everything else, he let a lot of supercells in.
Super raw earth, supercells. This man is so fucking Brandonized, dude. He is so goddamn Brandonized. The Brandonification is complete, brother. Supercells? Okay, now I genuinely do believe. In the past I've said, maybe, jokingly said, maybe he truly believes that like asylum seekers are actually escaping insane asylums. Now I 100% believe it. He literally thinks that asylum seekers are not actually going through a legal process of seeking asylum in the United States of America, but instead actually escaped insane asylums in like Guatemala and shit. And he thinks sleeper cells are called supercells. Oh my God, he is so fucking stupid. God damn it, dude. Supercells? 100%. The MS-13 knuckle tattoo Trump still believes has the letter M, the letter S, the number 1, and the number 3 on Kilmar Breaker Garcia's knuckles too. He straight up thinks all of these things. Oh my Lord, he is so fucking dumb. Oh my God, he is so stupid. How can someone be so fucking stupid? How can... God, America is so dumb. America is so stupid that they looked at this spectacularly stupid guy and were like, this guy should have access to the nuclear launch codes. Oh, yay, what a fucking insane country we are. Jesus Christ. And they still glaze him. They still say 5D chess moves, sir. Excellent moves, Mr. President. And as long as he does stuff that like the liberal media and the military industrial complex appreciates, like fucking bombing Iran, they will continue glazing him as though he is some normal ass dude making normal ass decisions. Incredible. He thought stealth jets were literally invisible. He's like, I saw them. They're not invisible. They're very visible. Why do they say they're invisible?
Find out a bit more right now about the president's very stern call with the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu just a little while ago as the ceasefire was hanging in the balance. CNN political and global affairs analyst Barak Ravid is joining us right now. He's also a global affairs correspondent for Axios.
Yeah. Okay. What a wonderful state of affairs here. Guy who worked for AIPAC interviewing Israeli defense operative. What is our media, man? Okay, I'm going to repeat this one more time. Wolf Blitzer, Papa Wolf, love him, okay? Literally an AIPAC a spokesperson. This is not like me being like anti-Semitic or something. Like straight up worked for AIPAC and was a press person for AIPAC. And the guy he's interviewing, Barak Ravid, who is a famous quote unquote journalist, award-winning journalist, is literally an Israeli was an Israeli intelligence operative, and possibly still is an Israeli intelligence operative. Okay, what the?
Barak, thanks so much for joining us. I want to read what the president posted on his Truth Social site earlier this morning after cursing out both Israel and Iran. He wrote this, and I'm quoting Trump: "Israel is not going to attack Iran. All planes will turn around and head home, while doing a friendly plane wave to Iran. Nobody will be hurt. The ceasefire is in effect." Barak, what did you learn about that conversation between Trump and Netanyahu that led to that post?
Hi, Wolf. According to Israeli news official, this call was pretty difficult. One U.S. official told me Trump was very direct and firm with what he told Netanyahu. He basically told Netanyahu abort mission. And Netanyahu, according to Israeli officials, told the president, "Look, I can't abort mission. The Iranians violated the ceasefire. They fired the missile. I have to do something." So at the end, Netanyahu told Trump that he's going to scale back this attack. And from a list of a dozen targets, many of them in the center of Tehran, at the end, the IDF struck one target, one radar outside of Tehran, which I think it's a pretty unprecedented thing that, the president of the United States goes out in public calling on Israel to abort mission, and Israel doesn't. I think it's quite extraordinary. And if there's one thing that showed us.
By the way, I do get to say I called it here. Okay, I told you that Israel was not happy, and this was even before the Iranian last salvo of missiles came through. Like it was clear that they were not happy about what had taken place, and they wanted to shred the ceasefire. And I think that they still want to shred the ceasefire, for the record. Reports are coming out of both Israel and Iran suggesting drones have been detected either heading to or in each country's airspace. We'll see what that means. We'll see what's going on. I think the Israeli Air Force just released a statement too. Let's see. The Air Force intercepted 2 unmanned aerial vehicles. Whoa, what the? They just changed the way that they translate stuff now on Twitter. The Air Force intercepted 2 unmanned aerial vehicles earlier this evening that were heading toward the country's territory, likely from Iran. The interceptions were carried out outside of the country's territory. Alerts were activated in open areas in accordance with policy. Didn't you say one phone call would stop Israel? I guess the phone call didn't work. If you think that Israel simply wanted to take out one of the radar sites in Iran and not just like immediately go back to a full tilt bombing campaign, you're out of your mind. It wasn't one phone call. It was one tweet that stopped Israel. So that's number one. And number two, the reason why the one phone call thing works, the reason why the one phone call thing is like what I've stated time and time again is like the power that America has over Israel is because of what comes after the phone call if Israel doesn't follow through on the phone call. As I said earlier today, I said, one phone call is all it takes. And if it doesn't work, weapons embargo. And if that doesn't work, sanctions. And if all that doesn't work, military invasion. I disagree with you, Abi. I don't believe that Trump has any actual frustrations with Israel. I think their public messaging is just is just this way to keep the anti-war sentiment to not gain foothold in the Democratic establishment as they climb the ladders of escalation. Oh, I don't think you're wrong. I think he's just mad because Israel is like sullying whatever long form plans that they have in place. Israel has internal pressures that and also their own personal ambitions. And I see this as Israel testing out the grounds of like how far they can take it, how much they can move beyond whatever lines that Trump has set. They did this with Joe Biden. They walked all over Joe Biden with regular frequency, and Joe Biden just ate it over and over again. Now we'll see if Donald Trump is invested enough, or if he will hold back Israel for at least an extended period of time, so they can like successfully rearm, defend itself appropriately. Because if Israel has no defenses left, and they're still trying to go back to war, and with their air defenses diminished, all of a sudden, America has to go in because America has to protect Israel. America's most important asset is Israel. So Israel violating this red line is a significant escalation that it is a intervention, is a demand for intervention by America. Israel wants to provoke some sort of escalation so that when they get to a point of retaliation, America has to intervene. I don't think that like this is completely off the table for the record. I just think that America has a different design or a different plan, maybe sometime in the future as opposed to right now. Not only has Trump escalated the situation, but is also baiting the Dems to the Taco Trump messaging with his half-ass, we don't want chaos in Iran takes after quite literally committing a war crime by bombing nuclear facilities directly with American planes. Trump doesn't care about the Democrats. At most, he might care about like massaging public opinion. But even then, it's very clear that he doesn't give a shit about the public opinion either. They literally did this strike against the wishes of the public. It didn't matter. Iran's military unified command headquarters issues a statement after drones were spotted over the city of Rusht, warning Israel and America that further incursions will result in a more crushing response than previous Iranian attacks against Israel and on the Al Udeid airbase in Qatar. The troubled Zionist regime with false and baseless claims by Netanyahu and the criminal Trump has become accustomed to lying. This regime is violating the country's airspace with drones, and since this morning has already targeted and attacked several areas of the country. The powerful armed forces of the Islamic Republic of Iran, whilst having complete distrust of the false guarantees and lies of the criminal leaders of America and the aggressive Zionist regime, possess full intelligence and operational oversight, and are 100% prepared and ready to counter enemy aggression, any enemy aggression. We call on America and the Zionist regime to learn from the crushing blows of the brave warriors of Islam from the north to the south of the occupied territories and from the American base in Al Udeid. Otherwise, they will receive a more crushing response with broader targets. Yeah, seems like they were launched a while ago. No. Israel is claiming that Iran launched 2 drones at Israel, but they were intercepted by the Israeli Air Force earlier this evening. This is the Israeli military statement. Having said that, however, having said that, however, Israel did launch drones, or at least someone launched drones into Iran as well. According to the IDF, the drones were shot down outside of Israel's borders. The military estimates that the drones were launched in the morning hours at the same time as the ballistic missile barrages. Drones take several hours to reach Israel from Iran. So, I don't know, maybe they had launched those drones early on and Israel intercepted them, considering that they're much slower than the ballistic missiles. But it seems like Israel has also launched drones in Iran, in Iranian airspace. These are like baby steps. This isn't as severe an escalation, for the record. Yeah, we already covered this, yes. Iranian air defenses shot down attacking drones in the northern city of Rusht, ISNA news agency reports, citing deputy provincial governor.
That's how angry Donald Trump was, is that he used this morning on camera the F word in the context of the Israel-Iran war. And we remember, when is the last time Donald Trump used the F word about Benjamin Netanyahu? So I think it shows how angry and frustrated he was.
Do we know what came first, that Iranian strike on that residential apartment building in Beersheba that killed 4 Israelis, or the Israeli strikes that took place in Tehran?
So as far as I understand, according to the sequence of things, the Israeli strikes in Tehran happened before, and the Iranian missile strikes happened afterwards. But according to the timeline that President Trump himself laid out, both were still.
German journalist, Israel, I told you this already. Israel did not allow us to film or report Iranian missile impacts on military and strategic locations. We were only allowed to show impacts on civilian areas. I don't know who this person is, but I don't really care about their personal anecdote here. It's very obvious that Israel, we know for a fact that Israel did that. because they released from Central Command new directives to the entire population. And we also know that they arrested people as well for filming some of the impact sites.
Still before the ceasefire came into effect, I think what created the problem was that the Iranians fired the missile one time 6 minutes into the ceasefire. Let's say, that's borderline. But the second time they fired a missile 3 hours into the ceasefire. And while the missile was intercepted, didn't hit anything, it was still, something that Israel saw as a violation and threatened to strike in retaliation in the center of Tehran.
In a statement after the phone call with the president, Prime Minister Netanyahu's office said this, and I'm quoting, "In the conversation, President Trump expressed his great appreciation for Israel, which achieved all of its objectives for the war, as well as his confidence in the stability of the ceasefire." End quote. What objectives is Israel claiming it achieved during the course of the last 12 days?
So I think there's no doubt that Israel achieved almost completely its two main objectives, which were, number one, destroying the Iranian nuclear program. I think the program, even if it's not 100% destroyed, it has been severely damaged, and it would take the Iranians a long time to bring this program back to a place where they can even try to produce a nuclear weapon. The other thing is the Iranian ballistic missile program. While the Israelis set out an ambitious goal of, removing this threat completely, they did not. But they, I think, degraded Iranian ballistic missile capabilities significantly, at least 50%, maybe even 60% of Iran's.
Damn, so Israeli intelligence officer Barak Ravid is wrong, considering that new assessment that came out that was leaked to CNN shortly after this interview directly contradicts the Israeli intelligence community's assessment. Oh, Congress would have approved the strikes on Iran. U.S. House rejects effort to impeach President Trump 344 to 79. Donald yelled at baby Bibi. Trump raised his voice at Netanyahu and demanded to stop the attack, with the Israeli prime minister managing to say little during the call, according to the Jerusalem Post report. I mean, at this stage, I don't even know if that is like fake to make it seem like they are no longer in bed with one another. I don't know. And I don't really care. The only thing we can wait for is like what Israel does in the upcoming days. If Israel keeps prodding and keeps poking the bear again and again and again, we shall see. Supposedly he was just angry that they undermined his ceasefire, like you said. Yeah, I don't think Israel is happy about this. Urgent. Jerusalem Post quoting officials. Trump and Netanyahu's call was difficult, and Trump viewed the ceasefire as a personal achievement that no one would undermine. What is this? I wonder if other VPs had as much excitement as I do. Thomas Massey asked Mike Pence about his last month. Damn, that's crazy. What is the Israeli appetite for war with Iran? Oh, it's the buffet. I think Israeli society is not as important here. Their opinions are completely inconsequential.